Well, visitors, good evening one time more. We have today in our midst a gentleman.
Well, my name is Weigand. I am lawyer in Hamburg now for something like 23 years.
You have a lot of foreign clients, and this is one of your specialities. Did that happen in your career by chance? Or?
Yeah, it was more by chance actually. Now, when you study law, you have all kind of law you're studying, and you, of course, look in a certain way, and my idea was also doing a lot of criminal cases, defense, but it was then one colleague, he had a client in jail and he didn't have time. He asked me if maybe I could help him, so I got this man out of jail, and well, it was the first year I was doing that.
Well, he
was
nice.
A black African, and he said, okay, he has some girlfriend, he's also arrested, and I help her to get out of jail. And that's actually, they know somebody, and they know somebody, and that's how people come here. And this is how I started, not only doing criminal cases, but also foreign law. But foreign clients don't mean automatically only foreign law. You know, for me it's important to see what are the problems these people also have. Like I have clients, they come to me first when they came to Germany. Maybe 20 years ago they came here with asylum. Later on they maybe have some small criminal problem. They have a car accident. Later on they have family problems, or even if it happens that they have to divorce themselves or something like that. So foreign clients do not automatically mean only foreign law. It also means that, but not only.
Okay.
No.
We now understood there's a new law in Germany. Every foreigner who happens to give birth to a German is automatically having a staying permit. Sometimes, especially in Hamburg, when a foreigner, instead of making the staying permit, it takes much more longer. But in other states, it's a bit easier. Can you explain this further to us?
No, cannot really explain why Hamburg is so slow. Now, generally speaking, it is correct that when you have a German child, normally you should have a permission to stay in Germany, maybe apart from some exceptions. But the problem in Hamburg is that for so many years here, the central foreign office, the Ausländerbehörde in Hamburg, is extremely slow. They rearrange the office every few months, and well, the new law, it's not a real law, but it's decisions we have, is slowly coming, which means that I'm expecting things to work faster in the future. So when you have a situation like that, that if you give birth to a German child and the father wants to have a permission because of that, or the mother, then you should make the application as fast as possible. And if it takes more, let's say 2 months or something like that, you should ask for a lawyer's advice, because sometimes it is enough to write there once or twice and phone them sometimes to speed up things. And I'm expecting things to get easier also in Hamburg. It's the beginning, which is Hamburg very slow, and but it's an old problem we have. It's not only with the permission, staying permission because of a German child, it's also staying permission for any other reasons. Hamburg is extremely slow.
For marriage and so on and so forth.
Yes, for many things. Like if you want to get somebody from Africa, for example, the wife or husband coming here, is also Hamburg always taking very long. And many authorities are having these problems with the central authority. It's not only lawyers, it's even the court. You know, even the administration court has problems with the central authority being so slow. But I'm expecting things to speed up in this special respect very soon. So I think in a few months this will get faster.
Thank you. So in this situation, Mr. Weigand, what can stop one from getting a staying permit when you get baby with a German citizen?
On the long run, I would say nothing. Normally speaking, he should get a permission. Okay. But especially in Hamburg, it could delay, for example, if you have no passport. If there's problems with the identity or something like that, this could be a delay. But in the long run, I believe even then you should be able to get your staying permission, yes.
After the First and Second World War, some Germans went to seek asylum using their other names just to get a staying permit there. Here is the situation where the Africans are here now, using their other names also to get staying here. But the Germans find out later that they use wrong names and they are giving them difficulties to stay here. Can you explain it further, please?
Yes, well, of course it's a complicated question because it has different possibilities why people can have problems. Now, generally speaking, I agree with you that it may be legitimate to use the wrong name if you run away from your home country. Sometimes you have no other possibility to get somewhere. The problems you have with using wrong names in Germany is, first, of course, that you commit a crime. In Germany, this is criminal offense if you use wrong names, so the first problem is when you use it. If they find out much later, then maybe they can still make a criminal case against you. My experience is that if you, for example, marry somebody, or you have a child with a German, something like that, so if you get a reason to get a permanent residence permission, or even just a temporary residence permission, normally speaking, these problems, because of using old identity, are not so big. Generally speaking, it is possible to get a permission in Germany, even though you've been using wrong name before. We have one very specific problem now, because we have a new law for just 1-2 years now, that says that people who've been staying in Germany for a long time, 8 years or 6 years, even children, something like that, that then you have a right to get a permission, even though normally you would have none. And this law has an exception. And one of the exceptions is that if you've been using wrong names and if because of that they were not able to send you back home, then you can have a problem. And that could mean that you cannot get a permission in Germany because of your old problem. This is a problem of the new law we have. But this doesn't mean it's not possible to get another permission. Like when you're married or when you have children or something, it is possible to get a permission, nevertheless, even though you've been using the wrong name before. The law is like that, I didn't make it, well, generally speaking, of course, Germans are very bureaucratic. And it's a little like France also. They see one letter in the name being different, so they say, oh, this is the wrong person, you know. You're not the same person, even though, of course you are. In many countries, in Africa, for example, people don't care so much if the name is written like that or written different, or they can change their name, they can use it, and many people have no birth certificate. People from Ghana, when they leave Ghana, they have no papers, you know, and if they want to marry later on, they just send somebody to get a birth certificate, like their father, and they make the birth certificate, even though the person was born 30, 40, 50 years ago. And that's not possible in Germany. When you are born, you are registered practically at once, and therefore German authorities cannot imagine problems which can come from different names, and therefore they use the German way of thinking also on a different way of life, and that sometimes is very difficult, yes, but it's not impossible, no, I wouldn't say so.
That means it's possible.
It is possible to get a permission even though you've been using a wrong name before. Only a special permission may be excluded.
Some lawyers take cases only when they see that the chances are very bright. Can you tell me, are you an exemption?
Well, maybe I'm an exception in a way that when you have an asylum case, for example, you have to see what kind of case it is. If you have an asylum case and you ask for political asylum in Germany, I normally send nobody away, yes. I don't think it is helping anybody to send him somewhere else. I do tell people that the chances are good or not good in the beginning, so that they know what is coming to them, but I don't send them away normally, even if the chances is bad, because I believe it's not my job to find out whether their reasons are good enough. It is my job to help them, and it is the decision of the authorities or maybe of the court to decide then finally. But I'm not the only lawyer who's doing that. I know there is some colleagues, they say I only do asylum cases when the chances are very good, because afterwards they can say that, well, so many of my clients get asylum now. Of course, if I take only the people who have very good chances, then of course the quote is very high. But generally speaking, in many other law problems, like when you have a family law or when you have a criminal law, most lawyers don't send people away, even if the chances are not so good. Now, for me, it is important to be frank and open in the beginning. That is, if somebody wants to make a case against somebody else, sue him for money, or wants to ask for something, to tell him in the beginning what the chances is, and to talk with him whether it makes sense. You know, sometimes I even tell people they shouldn't. I have some people from Nigeria, they come here with a Nigerian passport and they say they want to ask for asylum. I say, please, you know, think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You ruin your future and your business for the future if you ask for asylum here.
The Nigerian passport.
This is not a good idea. You know, if you have a visa for business or for visiting purpose, then you should use it for that purpose, and then maybe come here later and do your business instead of being registered here, sent to some camp somewhere in East Germany, have your file blocked for the future. Is going to be big problems. So don't do it. But if somebody insists on that, okay, then we have to discuss that. But I don't send them away because they don't have a chance. I send them away because they understand it makes no sense. In that respect, I believe it is more important to tell people before we go to court or before we try something, so that they know what is coming.
Mr. Lawyer, some Africans argue that their lawyers start performing very bad towards their expectation when the lawyers are turned to state lawyers. But here it doesn't seem so clear to me. Can a private lawyer be at the same time a state prosecutor?
No, he cannot. I think this is a misunderstanding. But I know from some Africans that this misunderstanding is something many people believe. Now, what we talk about is criminal cases, defense law. And in criminal cases, it is possible to have a case which is so big, so dangerous, and the punishment will be so high that the law says he needs a lawyer by law. That means if you don't have a lawyer, he will get one from the state. I mean, it's not from the state, really, it's from the court. That means the court is writing to him, here's the accusation, this is a high accusation, so you need a lawyer. You have 1 week time to tell us which lawyer you like, then we will take him. And if you don't tell us, we'll give you one. But even that lawyer, which the judge is choosing, is not a state lawyer. It's a lawyer, a defense lawyer. Now, I would never wait for that, because it makes more sense, of course, to look for a lawyer yourself. What happens is that many lawyers I know, and most actually lawyers, even defense, good lawyers, are using a trick. What we do is that you have a case, you are in jail, for example, we can see this is necessary defense, so we make an application as lawyers that we would like to become the lawyer the person would get if he didn't have one. Can you follow me?
Yeah.
It's a little complicated, but that means that it is possible to send the bill to the state, but this doesn't mean we work for the court or we work for the government. It's only a special system of getting money from the state if the client has the right to have a lawyer. And this is also we have in family cases and many other cases when you ask for Prozesskosten, that means for money from the state because people don't have money. And then also the court decides you are the lawyer for the person. But this doesn't mean you work for the court and it doesn't mean you work for the state. So there is no state lawyer in that respect. The university, we do together, all people who study law do the same exam. That means when I finished my studies, I get a paper which says I'm now entitled to be a judge. This doesn't mean I have to work as a judge. It means that with my exam I can work as a judge. I could work as a public prosecutor, district attorney. I could also work as a lawyer, and I could work in high rank in administration, for example. But I have to choose. I cannot do it the same. So it is possible that a lawyer, after some years of working, is changing and later on becomes a public prosecutor. This is possible by law, but then he cannot work as a lawyer at the same time. So the training and the education, the exam is the same, but after that it's completely split. So there's good lawyers, there's bad lawyers, there's a good lawyer who has a bad day or a bad case, and there's a bad lawyer who has a good time. But there is no such thing as lawyers working for both sides. No. That's a very simple question and very simple answer. Now, of course, there is lawyers who perform different, but it's sometimes very difficult to find out.
That is good. Now we understand. Yeah. Thank you very much. Before we conclude, can you please tell me in your own words some of the negative and positive experiences you've been having with your clients, irrespective of their nationalities?
Oh, well, this is a difficult question because I now do this job for 23 years, and I have odd experiences, actually. It is, I have foreigners who I defend in various cases now for 23 years, and they give me some presents for Christmas, and they have a personal situation, and they...
That's the better side of it.
This is the better side. I have German clients who come here like, it's me, well, I have, of course, some negative experiences as well, both with Germans and with foreigners. It is very difficult to say. You see, I once had a woman, she was booking, after I helped her to get, to avoid a jail sentence, and later on she booked off my Konto money. She used that for paying her rent and things like that.
Really?
Yes, it's true. And she was a German. Things like that sometimes. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, it happens, and well, I could even laugh after that. But it's, of course, I got my money back. But it's things like that happen sometimes. And of course, somebody comes in and says, "Ooh, it's me, and I'm so important," and things like that. But generally speaking, I believe that if you try your best, people also normally act accordingly. That means that they, of course, not everybody is happy about the result of a case, and sometimes they blame their lawyer. Of course, they do that. Sometimes you can help somebody, and the client is very, very happy about the lawyer and says it's such a good lawyer, even though sometimes it is possible. We have a joke that in a criminal case, for example, the court set one guy free, and they said that when they made the decision, they said the client had to be set free despite of the arguments of his lawyer. This happens, but it's life. A lawyer's office is an office where people come with small problems and big problems. What I mean is that it is mainly problems, but even though it mainly is problems, people are very nice to a lawyer. Normally speaking, they are nice to a lawyer because they feel that he can help them. And therefore I like this job also, because it's not, you see, I'm not a social worker, but I feel that when I do my job, I can help some people, and they are happy about that. And therefore, it's, even if they have big problems, you have a woman, she's beaten up by a man or something like that, after some time, normally speaking, you can say, okay, you could help in a way, and therefore the relation between the client and the lawyer is growing, and therefore many people come back after years. I haven't seen that for 10 years, they come back and say, hello.
Tell me very small, how do you feel when you come out from the courtroom with a winning case? Just in 1 minute, how do you feel?
Well, of course, it's nice. It's nice, you say, okay, now I've done something, and
you feel definitely great.
I feel great, yes.
That's super. Yes. Now people would like to know where you are. Tell us point blank your address and where we can locate you very easy.
My office is in Wandsbeker Chaussee.
Yeah.
It's 179.
Okay. And
it's near the U-Bahn station called Ritterstraße.
That's
you can find me in any telephone book as well.
That is dreaming that one day we'll hear that the Germans or the German state is saying every foreigner should come and take an amnesty.
I'm afraid yes. I believe you are
Is it
dreaming.
impossible?
Never say never. Therefore, nothing is impossible. You know, like we had two Germanys and now we are one. Nobody would have believed things like that to happen.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can never say nothing. It will happen. But it will be a very long way and it will be very difficult because Germans are very bureaucratic and they have their law and they love their law and they make it even more complicated every year. And
they love their country.
And yeah, well, that's a general question. That has nothing to do with Germany especially. There's other countries which are more nationalistic than Germans are. That's not the question. But it's a very bureaucratic thing. And therefore, to make a law saying we act sensible is going to be difficult, you know. I'm sorry to say so about my country, but it is more likely that things are getting more complicated than they are getting easier. But I never give up hope, and I think your dream is a good dream, and you should work on it. It's you should, in a way, not only dream. You should do something for that, and therefore I believe that, for example, your website and your work can be of some help, that people stand up and say, this is what we want. Even if we can't fulfill our dream at once, at least we can get some regulations. We had this new law that, for example, now some people who used to have Duldung, this is for years, and now they have possibility. So sometimes things can move, and maybe it will move more and more. Whether your dream is popping up into reality, I don't think so, but
word to our visitors?
Well, I think it's a great idea to have a website for people, and I believe it is especially important that you reach people irrespective of their tribe and of their country, where exactly they are coming from. From what I hear throughout my experience is that when it becomes political, there can, even within one country, be different groups going against each other here, like their home tribe is going against each other in, let's say, for example, Togo or something. But therefore, I think when you are in a foreign country, sometimes even hostile country, which I'm afraid Germany sometimes is, I believe it is important to unite, yes. And therefore, a platform like yours or any other community activities can maybe help you to stand together, and it is important that Africans are heard also in Germany. It is difficult to be heard here because the knowledge we have about African in Germany is very little, and therefore cultural, whatever, activities, political as well, but especially cultural and activities which are linking Africans with Germans is a good thing to do. You see, I can't give you an advice, it's just my idea, and I believe that we have too many reports on African people dealing with drugs and doing this and doing that. It is important to show that, for example, a website also shows that Africans are educated people as well. You know, even if some people coming from West Africa, for example, they don't have maybe the same university education as some people who write about them here. But it shows that even if you see black Africans very often in the kitchen working or cleaning, this doesn't mean that they are uneducated and that they don't know what life is like. And therefore, a website in that respect shows that you are, in modern country, part of our community. And in that respect, I wish you good luck with your website.
Thank you. Good intake. Thank you very much, Mr. Weigand.
Should be another time.
Welcome warmly to the African Life.
Okay.